Attention, ladies and gentlemen. A wave of communists have infiltrated our country. These communists threaten democracy as we know it today. They could be anyone. Your neighbor, your friend, your mom, or even you. In fact, the person sitting next to you right now is probably a communist. All that we ask of you is that you look out for these communists and report them. Thank you, and good night.
If you're a communist, you tell me, right?
Of course I would.
I saw you hanging out with the Petersons over there, and they were pretty communist.
I'm not a communist.
That is exactly what a communist would say. Get him!
No!
And there were no survivors. Moving on, the teleprompting of the Sacco and Vanzetti trial begins now.
Any final comments from the defendant or the prosecutor?
I'd like to let the members of the jury know that all the evidence has proven me innocent. The witnesses that claim I am guilty have been proven wrong, and the witnesses that claim I am innocent have been proven correct.
Be seated. Will the prosecutor please rise?
Judge and jury, despite the overwhelming evidence proving the defendant innocent, I'd like for you all to know that they are both radical anarchists. If you let them get off with this, they'll just start committing more crimes, and then they're going to take over America. Execution rests. Send them to 1 year in the gut.
Mike, it's Gulag.
The court breaks for recess. The court is back in session. Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
The jury finds the defendant
Guilty!
And in other news, the latest Palmer raid has led to the arrest and deportation of 10 radicalists. Raid by raid, our nation is becoming closer to being the safest it possibly can be.
So did you hear about those Palmer raids?
They are really cracking the whip on those left-wing radicalists. Alexander Mitchell Palmer had the police running around, finding, arresting, and trying the radicalists in court. And if they're found guilty, they get deported.
You seem to know a lot about these raids.
Look to the police department.
Radicalist!
How could you? I protected you for 10 years.
Did someone say radicalists?
It's him! Everyone in the world figured out that guy was a radicalist.
Listen to this.
And in other news, the raging debate between evolution and creationism may be coming to an end soon, and it seems like creationism is in the lead. On July 21st, high school teacher John Scopes was declared guilty of teaching evolution in schools, and has been sentenced to 1 year in the what is this word?
Evolution. That is ridiculous. Does Mr. Scopes mean to tell me that I came from one organism? Everyone in the world is descendants of one thing. That's impossible. Look at how complex I am. I could only come from God, obviously.
Evolutionism is not that improbable of a theory. The main idea behind it is man was not simply created, but instead developed by a process of breeding for hundreds of thousands of years, until eventually natural selection developed the optimal physical and mental build known to us today as the human. In fact, through eugenics, which is making people marry each other for desired traits, humanity can eventually reach perfection.
You know, I have to disagree with everything you're saying. You must be a communist.
Talking about
Communist, get him!